Okay, the first thing I want to do before I start to add my text is to go over to my foreground color, background color windows and make sure that my colors are reset to black and white. So I click right here, this little thumbnail, like that, and that'll reset the colors to black and white. My foreground color will be black, my background color will be white. Then I want to click on my text tool, and up top I want to make sure, I want to go over here to where the orientation is, the alignment, and I want to click on center text. I don't want it to be lined up on the left or the right. So once I have that done, I'm going to bring my cursor to kind of the center of the cartouche, right about here. It doesn't have to be exact. And I'm going to go ahead and click one time. That's going to give me these blinking cursors. And I want to type in my name. Now I want to type in my name in all lower caps, because with this font, with the Horus Basic font that we're using, when you type in all caps, it actually it'll give you the Egyptian hieroglyphic for your character, but it'll also give you the Roman letter in the bottom, and you don't want that. You just want the Egyptian hieroglyphic. So in all caps, I want to type my name. Okay, so I've got it there. Now I need to make some changes. I need to change the size, I need to change the font. So I want to select all the text that I've just created. Now I can either go Command A to select them, or I can also go up top to select all, or Command A, either one. So now I have all the text selected. And if you notice, as soon as I started typing, it created, if I take a look at my layers window, it created a new layer for text. Anytime you create text, new text in Photoshop, it will automatically create a new layer for you. So I don't want to change it to hieroglyphics yet. I want to bump up the size a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go about 30 points. Okay, now I'm going to go over and I'm going to choose Horus Basic for my font, which is the Egyptian hieroglyphic font that we installed the other day. Horus Basic right here. So I'll go and click on it, and now it's giving me my name in Egyptian hieroglyphics. So I want to go and I want to increase the size until I fill up most of the area in the cartouche. Now if you notice, it only goes up to 72 points. That's not going to be enough. So now what I need to do is I need to select this and I need to type in a number. That's still not big enough. Let's try 90. No, not big enough. Let's try 100. It's almost there, but I think I'm going to try 110. Okay, now 110 looks pretty good. Now depending on how long your name is, you may either have to go smaller or larger, depending, but you want it to fit nicely in the cartouche. Now I have a size I think is pretty good. I'm going to go over and select my move tool, this tool here, and that's going to deselect the text, but now I can move it because remember the text is in a layer by itself. So I'm just going to click kind of anywhere and just move my name kind of down into place, and if I need to I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to kind of just nudge it into place. I'm going to go a little bit lower, right about there. Okay, so I've got my name in place where I want it to go. Now, in order for me to be able to actually manipulate and work with these characters, I need to convert them to pixels. Right now, as you can see, it's text. Whenever you have a layer that has a T surrounded by these corner marks, that means the text is still live and that you could take the text tool, go in here, and change the text if you need to. But we're not going to. So I'm going to take this layer and I want to basically rasterize the layer. So I'm going to go up top to layer, and then I'm going to go down to rasterize, type. And when I do that, now if I go over to the layers window, this doesn't have the T with the corners anymore. Now it's got a thumbnail of the actual text that I've just created. Okay, so I want my text to be on the top layer, so I'm going to take this layer right here and move it all the way to the top, okay, so that it's in front of everything else. Now what I want to do is I want to go in and color some of this. So let's start with let's see, I'm going to zoom in to the lion here, okay, and then that's a bit much, and zoom out a little bit. Then I'm going to find a color. I'll take my brush tool, I'll find a color. I think I'm going to go with I think I'm going to use actually a red that I've used here before. So I'm going to take the eyedropper And the eyedropper is going to let me select a color in the document that I've already used. So I'm going to go and choose this red right here. And then I'll take my brush tool. And I want to make sure that I go and choose a solid brush with a smaller area. It's too big. Let's go about here. This will be good. And a hardness of 100 because I want to have a sharp edge. So now I'm going to go in, but I'm not going to color on this layer. I'm going to color on, I think what I need to do is, well, I can do one of two things. I can actually color on one of the existing layers, or I can create a new layer that will let me just have the color of those objects in a separate layer in case I want to delete them, in case I want to erase them. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and create a new layer. And now I've created this layer on top, but I need this layer to be behind the characters, behind the hieroglyphics. So I'm going to take this layer and move this down right here. And then I'm going to start to go in and color. I'm going to start to color here. Now the brush is a little bit large, but I'm going to use a larger brush to color in some of the larger areas. And then I can use a smaller brush to go in and paint these. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually coloring behind the Egyptian hieroglyphics, so it doesn't matter if I overlap the colors here because the black line is gonna hide it. See, if I turn this layer off for a second, now I can see what I'm coloring. It's basically behind the hieroglyphics. So I'll go in and color this and just finish this off here like this, and then kind of fill this in. And then I'll go in and choose other colors for the face and the body and that kind of stuff, and just go in and fill each of these areas in. Now, another thing we can do here, and let's use this character right here. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. Let's say I want to color inside here, but I also want to color the actual line. Let's say I don't want the line to be black. Now I could select all the pixels and change it that way. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go in to the top layer, and remember, you want to go over the thumbnail, hold down the control key and click one time, and then go select pixels. So now what this did, it selected all the pixels of the Egyptian hieroglyphics, only the outlines. So now I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. So now what I can do if I want is I can go in and take, for example, and I'll just use the same color, a larger brush, and now I can go in and fill the entire character a different color. And let's see, I want to fill this in red, and I can use a really large brush to make my work faster. But now, while I still have this selected, let's say I want to add a little pattern here. Then I can go and choose another color. Let's go with let's try a blue, see what that looks like. And then go in and maybe choose, a different brush, maybe something like this. And then maybe now I want to just go in and just add little kind of swashes of color. Just kind of go like this, and just kind of go in and add just a little decoration to the character. Well, now I can go and do that because I still have only the characters in the layer selected. Let's zoom out, see how this looks. Okay, it's not too bad. So I'm going to deselect here for a minute so you guys can see this. So I'll deselect. So now I've got these cool patterns that actually outline the characters. And you can go back and do that to each of these. So if you wanted to do it, go back. Again, it's in the same layer. Scroll over the layer that your text is in. Control click. Select pixels. And then it'll go and select those pixels. And then you can go in and, with your brush, let's choose another color. Let's go with purple. And so now I can color this, or now I can color maybe parts of this and just have this kind of like a black and purple decoration. Whatever you want. I'm going to deselect now. Whatever you want to do with these, you can, because you're just selecting just the pixels that are in the layer. Then when you're done with this, after you've filled all this in, After you fill in all the colors and you've colored the strokes of the characters, and you fill this in, you've got this as decorative as you want to. Then save your file, and then when you are ready to submit, you're going to flatten the layers. You can either do it here, flatten image, or you can do it up here, layer, flatten image, and then file, save as. We want to save this as a JPEG. So under format, Photoshop, JPEG, save it to my desktop, hit save. Remember, maximum quality, hit OK, and then Photoshop, quit Photoshop, and you are done.